Saskatoon moderator's just giving a spiel to any
Okay.
media on the call now, and then we're going to kickstart live stream, and then we'll get going.
Okay.
Please stand by. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the SCIC 2020 Crop Insurance Program announcement. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I'd like to turn the conference over to Tessa Kropchak. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. Welcome, everyone, to the 2020 Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Program announcement from SCIC's head office here in Melville. Today, Saskatchewan Agricultural Minister David Merritt will be providing details of the 2020 Crop Insurance Program for Saskatchewan producers. We also have a number of industry representatives joining us here in Melville today, and Minister Merritt will be introducing our special guests here shortly. Just before we start with the program announcements, I will let everyone know how the rest of the event will proceed. We will hear details of the 2020 Crop Insurance Program from Minister Merritt. This will be followed by a question and answer session with media. The 2020 Crop Insurance Program announcement is also being live streamed to provide additional access to media and Saskatchewan producers about the program details for the coming crop year. For media viewing the live stream, you'll be able to submit questions using text at 1-306-730-5001. You can also submit your questions by email to webmaster@scic.ca. Those joining us by teleconference, those details were provided in the media advisory issued yesterday. I will be monitoring the questions submitted. For media submitting questions, please indicate your name and media outlet, and I can relay the questions to the minister once we get the question and answer portion started. As usual, we'll be taking questions from the media here in room first, and then we'll go to the phone line. Also, a news release has been provided to the media in attendance. It is also being distributed and will be available on the Government of Saskatchewan's website and the Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation's website now or here shortly after. I will now turn things over to Agriculture Minister David Merritt.
Thank you, Tess. Good morning, everyone. It is obviously a pleasure for me to be here on behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan. With me this morning is Shawn Jakes, President and CEO of Saskatchewan Crop Insurance. And I also want to acknowledge other guests that are in the room with me as well. Norman Gulen, Division 2 Director from SARM is here. Aaron Gray, Saskatchewan Irrigation Projects Association. Steve McDonald, Saskatchewan Agriculture Producers Association of Saskatchewan, Director for District 1, I believe. And Will Audie, President of Saskatchewan Organic Growers is here. And Levi Hull, Director, District 5 Saskatchewan Cattlemen's Association is here. And Aaron Huber, Director of Saskatchewan Stock Growers is also here with us. I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time and effort to be here this morning. And I know some of you had to travel a great distance and some of you didn't have to travel too far at all, but it's nice to see everybody here. So the changes introduced for the 2020 year will help ensure that crop insurance is meeting the risk management needs of our evolving agriculture industry. Beginning this year, the insurable region for soybeans is expanding to the entire province. This reflects the increased availability of many improved varieties grown here in Saskatchewan. Soybeans have become a successful crop in Saskatchewan. Since first insuring soybeans in 2010, Saskatchewan Crop Insurance now has several years of customer production information with this crop. Crop insurance coverage for soybeans producers will now be based on the producer's personal yield history instead of regional averages. Their experience discount or surcharge will be applied to premiums for soybeans. Irrigation coverage is also available for soybean producers. It is important for producers to evaluate their risk management options each year, as situations on their farm can change. For those customers looking to return to crop insurance program, SCIC is making a notable change. Producers now have up to 7 years to rejoin the program to continue with their previous premium discount or surcharge and yields. We are also making changes to benefit vegetable farmers. The Vegetable Acreage Loss Insurance Program provides coverage for vegetable growers and market gardens in Saskatchewan. As the demand for locally grown produce has increased, the Ministry of Agriculture and SCIC are taking a leadership role in supporting the industry. SCIC is changing their insured value of vegetable crops to better reflect the production costs. Additionally, to allow for a longer growing season before harvest begins, SCIC is extending the fall cutoff dates. Starting in 2020, asparagus will be added to the program as an eligible crop. With the recent growth in the organic industry, we reviewed SCIC's organic option to ensure it remains relevant to Saskatchewan producers. Premiums and coverage are updated using information from organic customers. Previously, the organic option was based on a combination of conventional and organic crop experience. With this change, organic insured prices are higher and premium rates are lower. Average coverage is also lower, realigning to the current organic risk. The impact of this change will depend upon each producer's production experience. The success of Saskatchewan's crop production allows SCIC to keep premiums low while keeping average coverage strong. For 2020, the average crop insurance coverage will be the second highest in history of the program at $224 per acre. Average per acre coverage is determined based on prices set by the federal government. Crop insurance customers will pay an average premium of $7.40 per acre, down from $8.61 in 2019. March 31st, 2020 is the deadline for producers to sign up for crop insurance. 2019, Saskatchewan producers faced many challenges such as dry growing season and wet conditions. This was followed by early snowfall, which delayed harvest. These adverse conditions have impacted many producers' yields and crop quality. With crops left out over winter, wildlife damage can occur. Coverage is available through the Wildlife Damage Compensation Program, which is available to all Saskatchewan producers regardless of whether you are enrolled in crop insurance or not. Producers should contact SCIC as soon as damage is discovered. As we head into spring, producers are encouraged to contact SCIC prior to harvesting, feeding, or grazing any damaged crop so it can be assessed. As we approach the 2020 growing season, now is the time for Saskatchewan producers to review their farm insurance. SCIC offers a full suite of business risk management options. From crop insurance, ag stability, the Western Livestock Price Insurance, or wildlife damage compensation programs, all of our programs work together to provide producers with protection against the unexpected. The Agri-Stability Program maintains the financial foundation of a farming operation by protecting against risks such as declining commodity prices or rising input costs. As announced in December 2019, Agri-Stability is changing how it treats revenue and expenses from private insurance, effective for the 2020 program year. This revenue will be excluded from a producer's program year calculation, increasing the producer's potential to receive an agri-stability benefit. The Western Livestock Price Insurance Program provides producers with protection against an unexpected drop in the market prices on cattle and hogs. I'd like to remind livestock producers cap price insurance policies are now available for the purchase until the end of May. In these times of market uncertainty and adverse weather conditions, agriculture risk management planning is important for the Saskatchewan producers. I am confident in SCIC's entire suite of business risk management programs. This is why there will be no ad hoc programming. I want to encourage producers to reach out to SCIC staff to discuss how to customize their risk management options. SCIC has a great team of experts at 21 customer service offices across the province. Many staff members are producers themselves, as they understand the challenges producers face and are eager to help out. We are dedicated to maintaining a strong, growing agriculture economy. That is why we invest in business risk management programs. I want to thank all of you for taking the time today, and I'll now gladly open to questions and take any questions. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Minister. So just to give a little bit of confirmation here on how the Q&A session will follow. So the Q&A session is for media only. We're going to begin with media in the room or any media who submitted via text or electronics, just because there is a delay between the phone line and this live stream. So we're going to accommodate that. I will advise Sarah, the operator here, when it's time to take questions over the phone line. I just want to remind media to please provide their name as well as their media outlet and their organization to whom they're representing. And just a reminder for those here in room, there are microphones here that we will be able to float around if any industry reps need to answer questions. So just make sure to lean in, speak closely and clearly. All right, so that being said, I will ask if there's any media here in room first. If you have any questions, just please raise your hand and we'll get a mic over to you, and we'll start there.
So it's Allison from CTV. Just wondering, is this in response to kind of the crop season that we had this year, or was this something that was already in the works beforehand?
A lot of this was in the works beforehand because obviously SCIC has to do evaluation on obviously the risk and the opportunities for it. So no, this has been ongoing for for a few years, collecting the data and making sure that we're really addressing the needs of the producers around the province. And I think we've done a very good job of that.
And then when you're looking at what to add, is that just kind of the new crops that have popped up in Saskatchewan, or how do you kind of address what needs to be added and that sort of thing?
That's exactly right. And it's actually a combination of SCIC reaching out to producers as well. We've seen, obviously, the soybean one is one that we saw move in kind of on the southeast side of the province, and that's where SCIC really started their kind of insurance and piloting that side of it. And then we just seen it grow, and now I think to take it province-wide is a good thing. I know in my travels I've seen soybeans growing up around Saskatoon and other parts of the province, so I think it was important for us to go there. And obviously for the vegetable side too, we really see great opportunity for the vegetable side to grow here in the province of Saskatchewan, so we wanted to make sure that we could look after that as well.
And then is this kind of a look at feedback from producers? You've cut costs a little bit. Is that because people aren't utilizing the service, or why is that? Just to kind of make life a little easier with the growing seasons?
No, it's all reflective in the prices. But I think that the one thing I do want to say is one thing SCIC has done a very good job is really consulting with the industry leaders on any changes we want to make. I think that's important for us to reiterate to the public that we really do engage in the organizations and many of them are in the room here today to say, okay, here's some changes we're looking at. Well, how do you feel about it? Are they good ones, or is there some things we could make better? And obviously we continue to do that. And it's even like ag stability. We're still looking and listening to the industry leaders on things that we could do there as well. So.
And then just finally,
Sure.
sorry,
that's all right.
what's one thing that really stands out in this new update for you guys that you are kind of exceptionally proud of? Maybe it's something that you've been working on for a while.
Yeah, I think probably the big one is the soybean. For me, it is. I look at that side of it and say now we're province-wide on it. It's a new crop that's really coming into the province. When you look globally at the soybean industry and how big it is, I think if we're going to become competitive, if we're going to keep competitive globally, we have to look at new crop varieties, and this is one we're bringing in. Hopefully there'll be more, but I think it's just an opportunity for us to do that side. When you see the premiums go down as significant as they did, it's also a good thing for the producer as well.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Emily, and I'm from the Melville Advance. Can we just get a mic in front of you there?
Thank you so much. This is Emily from the Melville Advance, and I have a couple of questions. First of all, I was informed that flea beetles were a major impact on a number of local farmers this last season. Does the insurance for impact by wildlife include pests?
So I guess damage from flea beetles, we typically see that kind of damage in the springtime when crops are just emerging. So with your crop insurance contract, producers have what we call the establishment benefit. So if the flea beetles, and we did see some claims from that in 2019, if they do enough damage that a producer needs to reseed that crop, they're eligible to receive an establishment benefit. So yes, that would be a insured peril for producers.
Thank you. My next question is sort of related to that. I was wondering whether that policy also covered disease that may impact either crops or cattle.
So your crop insurance, again, policy, we cover all natural causes of loss that that farmers can't control. So it's, adverse weather. It could be frost. It could be too much moisture, not enough moisture, pests, and disease. So if a producer should have a loss because of disease and it's not management related, it would be an insurable, what we call an insurable cause of loss, and we would compensate for any shortfall in bushels that producers may have.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I do have a question here from Neil Billinger of CJWW. So he's actually first just looking for a general reaction from both the irrigation and the organic representatives. So Will or Aaron Gray, if one of you wants to take one on the mic and the other.
Yeah, in terms of the organics, it's kind of a maturation, I guess you might say, because obviously in the past, in the case of organic yields and pricing, it was based on a factor, which was largely a guesstimate, you could have said, from the start of that program many years ago. And clearly, SCIC has now amassed enough data to be able to form actuarially sound systems based on the organic data itself. So it will affect people in a number of manners. I guess there may be some people in some cases who may be adversely affected, but by and large, I think reflecting the true organic yields and the true organic price, because we've been doing a lot of price discovery, which helps crop insurance establish accurate prices for organic products. I think by and large it will make a big difference, and there's certainly some very significant premium drops on a per crop basis.
Yeah, with irrigation, the enhanced irrigation project or the enhanced irrigation coverage that SCIC has been absolutely a favorite among irrigators because it separates your yield and you don't get penalized for actually spending the money and trying to grow a big crop, right? And adding soybeans to this has been fantastic because soybeans is a very good complementary crop for rotation on irrigation, and you don't get penalized for trying to grow it on your pivot and trying to make more money at your doorstep, right? And we find over the years, communications we've had with SCIC on new programs coming up have been very, very good and very open, and we're excited for the new year to come.
Awesome.
Thank you. Another question from Neil here. What percentage of farmers are enrolled in crop insurance, and why do you think today's changes will increase those numbers?
So how we measure enrollment in SCIC is the percentage of acres insured. And so over the last number of years, the percentage of acres insured has ranged between 75 and 78%. And so I think today's announcement will, give some opportunity to producers, and we may see some additional crops endorsed, and possibly some new customers signing up. So,
Thanks, Shawn. Mm-hmm. And lastly, from Neil here, he's just looking for a little bit more of the story and the assessment on the wildlife damage to unharvested crops. So, if there's a number for growers to call, or what areas are kind of being impacted the most?
Yeah, so that's that's a good question, especially with there's about 1.3 million acres reported to SCIC that remain unharvested, and it's kind of spread throughout the province, but central Saskatchewan probably has the largest number of acres unharvested, and it's open to all producers whether or not you are a crop insurance customer. So I think what's important for producers to keep in mind, as the spring progresses, if you notice damage from waterfowl or wildlife prior to harvesting those acres, please call any one of our local offices, and we will have an adjuster sent out to assess the loss. We do move adjusters around because there's parts of Saskatchewan where maybe there's very little crop left out, so we will ensure that we have enough staff available to get those claims done in a timely manner.
Thank you. We do also have a submission here from Zach of the Saskatoon Star Phoenix. And he's just inquiring, will crop insurance premiums for the previous year be higher than expected? And regarding the special warrant issued to additional government funding, included a request for more than $8 million for these premiums.
So with respect to the premiums for the 2020 year, as the minister remarked in his comments, is that producers will see on average a decrease in premium from $861 to $740 an acre. So the total premium that we will collect for the program will be less for 2021. And that's a good thing for producers, that they are seeing a premium decrease while coverage is second highest on record. So I think that's a good news story for our producers. In regards to the special warrant, we know that there's going to be a higher number of wildlife claims just due to the large number of acres that remain. And so we went through the special warrant process, and we were allotted an additional $8.2 million to help cover off those wildlife claims this spring.
Perfect. Thank you, Shawn. I have nothing else here and nothing else from in room. So Sarah, are you on the line?
Yes.
Perfect. I will turn things over to you now if you want to queue up any of the media waiting on the phone.
Thank you. And if you would like to ask a question over the phone, please signal by pressing *1 on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, it is *1 to ask a question. And we'll take our first question from Jim Smalley, CKRM Radio.
And good morning. Thanks so much for taking my call. I guess I have two questions. First off, I want to make sure my dirt farmer's arithmetic is correct. Is it a 14% decrease in premiums and a 2.6% decrease in coverage? And then I'd love to get farm reaction from, say, SARM, APAS, the stock growers. And please say your name and your organization before you give me a short reaction to these latest rates and announcement. Thank you.
Okay. Just before they answer, Jim, I will just say, yes, your numbers are correct. It is a 14% decrease in premium and only about a 2% reduction in coverage costs. So we looked at that side of it and see it's going to be good for the farmers here in the province of Saskatchewan.
Thank you. Now, if I could have the farm reaction.
Good morning. Good morning. It's Norm Gulen with SARM. I think the farmers will positively look at the premium reduction of $1.21 per acre on average. And the coverage of $2.24 is still pretty reasonable. We've worked closely with crop insurance. Shawn and his folks come to us quite often, and they do consult on a very good basis. We have a good working relationship, and I have to back them up on what they say.
Good.
Steve Donald with APAS District 1. Yes, we at APAS also are very happy with this because we have resolutions that have asked for better BRM management tools, and this is definitely going to be a good one.
Aaron Huber, Sask Stock Growers. I think we can appreciate what our government's doing for us as stock producers, and what SCIC can appreciate what farmers are going through right now. It's just a tough, difficult time. That it's kind of an odd year that it was so dry this spring and then so wet in the fall that it's sometimes you do need to get that helping hand. So we appreciate it very much.
Thank you. I missed most of the names, either the first or the last name, from a bit of a cutout. Could you repeat the names of the gentlemen for me, please?
Aaron Huber, Sask Stock Growers.
And the other two? Norm Gulen, I got that. And what was the APAS spokesman?
Stephen Donald.
Even or Ethan?
Stephen.
Stephen. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jim. Sarah, is there another one on the line?
Yes, our next question will come from Karen Breyer, Western Producer.
Hi, I'm curious about the administrative change with the 7-year gap, I guess you could say. Why 7 years, and how does that compare to what's been happening before?
So Karen, it's Shawn here. So this is a kind of an administrative rule that SCIC's had in place for a number of years. Prior to today's announcement, it was 3 years. So if a producer chose to exit the program for whatever reason, and they were out longer than 3 years, if they rejoined our program, they had to start at a 0% discount. And so, when we took a look at this, we felt that we were able to, extend that period of allowing producers to come back into the program. We were confident that, their farming practices haven't changed, and so we will allow them to come back in, and they can retain their experience discount and the yields that they had when they exited the program. And so we get about 60 producers a year that over the last number of years, I think was the average, that rejoin our program. And so I think this change will be viewed positively because it'll allow people to re-enter our program and still maintain those discounts that they had.
Okay, and if you could just on the issue of soybeans, can you give me an idea of where they're being grown now? I know the minister said he sees them everywhere he travels, but are they really being grown all around the province?
Yeah, they are, growing right across the province. Primarily I'm just looking at some of my folks in the room, but the black soil zone would be probably where they're predominantly grown. But we are seeing them grown, as the minister said, right across Saskatchewan.
Okay, and just finally, I'm wondering if there's anything SCIC can do to encourage more livestock producers to enroll more calves in WLTIP. I know the target is not being met every year for the number that you want to see enrolled in that program.
Yeah, that's a good question, Karen. And it's a relatively new program. We've been delivering it since 2014. Our staff are working. The calf season has started February 1st, and so our staff are working with the livestock associations. We're doing a number of town hall meetings, as well as different advertising or marketing campaigns. So. Every opportunity that we get to be able to speak about Western livestock price insurance, we take advantage of that to make producers more aware what's available. And, again, we do work very closely with the farm organizations to help us, get that message out to the livestock producers.
Thank you.
And once again, if you'd like to ask a question over the phone, please press star 1. We'll pause for just a moment.
Any follow-up from in room?
And we have no further questions queued at this time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah. We have no more questions here in room as well. So this concludes the 2020 Crop Insurance Program announcement. I want to thank you all once again for tuning in either online or being here in room and present. And thank you so much, Minister Merritt.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thanks, John.
Good job. Good job. Really good job.
And that does conclude today's conference. Once again, thanks everyone for joining us.
Coughing fit waited. Yes, I've been holding that in.